Greetings, Goddess, Body, Mind, Spirit community. This is your Goddess Guru, Tyra Omilade, here to share a word of inspiration with you on your path to self-realization and self-mastery. Today is April the 9th, and it's the year of our Lord of 2019. I just wanted to get on and talk to you all a little bit about the Jupiter retrograde that is imminent. So Jupiter retrograde is not a super big deal. It stays retrograde maybe 6 months. I mean, it stays retrograde a good long while. And it doesn't disrupt our lives. So when we think about a Mercury retrograde, even a Mars retrograde can be a little disruptive. But we don't have to worry about those kinds of things with Jupiter. Jupiter is also a benefic planet, which means even a Jupiter that maybe doesn't have the best placement or the best aspects, Jupiter is still going to be pretty good, you know? So Jupiter retrograde is a good thing. All retrogrades, I have come to learn and accept, are a good thing because they give us an opportunity to put a pause on our forward movement and to catch anything that perhaps that we did not catch before, that we learned, that we picked up. Because typically the retrograde, no, not typically, the way the retrograde works is a planet will retrograde a certain number of degrees. It will backtrack those degrees, and then it'll go back over it one more time so that it moves direct, it retrogrades, and then it moves direct. So the first time it's moving direct, sometimes we may catch wind of an idea, something that it just comes to us as an idea. We're exposed to it the first time, and it may be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea, but we don't really take any action on it. So once the planet goes retrograde, then it gives us an opportunity to backtrack and catch something that maybe we didn't pick up when it was moving direct. Another way the retrograde is good is if we are moving forward on an idea, a project, or something like that, but maybe we need to tweak it. Maybe there's something that needs to change. The retrograde gives us that opportunity to look and see, how can I improve this thing and what changes need to be made. Maybe the forward movement that I'm making isn't really the forward movement that is needed. I needed to choose something. I need to choose a different way of doing this thing. So that is good. That is good. It sucks if we're moving forward only to realize the forward movement didn't land us where we needed to. And so now we're at the end of this thing, but it's not going to be acceptable. So that's what the retrograde period is really good for. And understanding what that planet represents. And the other thing is understanding where that planet is in your chart helps you to even hone in on Jupiter even more, or excuse me, on what specifically should you be looking at during this time. So y'all remember in the, well, maybe you didn't see it, but in the new moon video, I talked about the importance of us living according to the cycles. And that's what I'm talking about here. So what I wanted to bring up is something that I hear the astrologers saying, the ones that I listen to and learn from. And that is when a planet is going retrograde, what it has to do is called station. And so it takes a few days to station. And stationing means that it's slowing down and it's stopping before it starts going retrograde. And so with Jupiter going retrograde, you'll feel it, I think it was today, and tomorrow's the actual day it goes retrograde. But then you also feel this intensification energy, you know, a couple of days before and after. Most transits, they're not day of. They last a few days. And so anytime a planet is going retrograde, during the shadow period is when you will be able to kind of pick up, which the shadow period is going to be big. So let's not so much talk about the shadow period. Let's talk about the stationing period. It will begin to kind of like, it'll bring some stuff up. You'll I don't know, it just intensifies the energy of that planet, that sign that the planet is in, and the house that it's in. But let's just talk about Jupiter in Sagittarius, because that's where Jupiter is right now. It's going retrograde. And so Jupiter is in Sagittarius. Things that we can be thinking about are having expansion, opening ourselves up to being more, to understanding more. Sagittarius has to do with our belief system. And so maybe at this time you're going to be given insights, or you'll be given an opportunity to allow yourself to be expanded, to what are your biases? Think about who you're biased against. I think this is a very important topic. Think about people that you don't really like. Sagittarius is all about inclusivity. It's an energy that is about traveling the world and knowing people and cultures beyond yourself. And so this is giving us an opportunity this time. Just let yourself feel open to people who you have a bias against for whatever reason. But think about that, because when we lose biases, guess what? It allows us to be free. And that's another thing about Sagittarius. Sagittarius energy does not want to be held down. It does not want to be held back. It wants to be free. It wants to roam. Well, roam in the sense that it wants to travel. It wants to get out. It wants to see the world. Don't hold a Sagittarius energetic person down. They don't want that. The best thing you can do in relationship with the Sagittarius people in your life is to let them be free. But yeah, look at your beliefs, your philosophies, and it's also about learning. It's about higher learning. It's Jupiter and Sagittarius are both about gurus and teachers. So during these next couple of days, this is why I'm coming on to talk to you about it. These are things that if you feel inclined to do it, you should. If you feel inclined to open yourself in some kind of way to a teacher, to some higher teachings, maybe you're thinking about going back to get advanced education. And so those are things that right now, if they're coming up, you really should be going with it, But again, it all depends on what house Sagittarius is in. Or excuse me, Jupiter in Sagittarius is in. But I'll come to that in a minute, because I don't want to neglect to say that the other thing that I really want to impress upon everybody is gratitude. I see Jupiter in Sagittarius is an opportunity for us to really walk in a huge place of gratitude. And so as you go about these next few days, be grateful for everything in your life, your breath, your body, your life, no matter how many ups and downs you've experienced. The air, even if we think the air and the water is polluted, we still need it. I mean, polluted or not, we still need both to live. For your family, your friends, the earth, the nature, the birds. Just walk around, just walking deeply in gratitude. Because Jupiter gives, okay? Jupiter is a benefic, it gives. And gratitude is a way for us to receive more of what we want. And we actually are here to receive. Some of us will do good with the minimalist lifestyle. That's abundance. Some of us will want a more ornate lifestyle. That's abundance to you. Whatever you deem abundant and what you desire, in your life, be it, something physical or in terms of relationships, more love in your life, just in general, not necessarily romantic love. To me, romantic love is good, but it's all these different manifestations of love that I feel like we all need on a regular basis. Whatever it is, it will open up to us more as we walk in gratitude. And we deserve to have this. We were put here to have these experiences. This is what the human experience is about, you know? And so another thing that we can do during this intensification period, but then also maybe these are things that we need to backtrack on and really look at. I think until October, something like that, is what in our beliefs is preventing us from getting what we want. I can say personally, I am seeing more and more. I have beliefs that actually slow me down on the things that I say I want the most. But what do we have to do? We have to slow ourselves down. We have to get quiet so that we can actually hear our spirit give us, this is where you have this limiting belief. And we can, tap into the energy of Jupiter in Sagittarius to, allow that energy to infuse us so that we can expand our minds, our beliefs, our consciousness beyond limiting thoughts, limiting beliefs. We can use this retrograde period to allow ourselves to expand in some way, pick one thing, so that at the end of the retrograde, what happens when the planet starts moving forward is you begin to integrate whatever that thing was in your life so that, it becomes a part of you. It's now a way of being, and we don't revert. I just feel like lack of awareness, lack of consciousness of what's really going on in the transits that we're working with, the energies that we're working with at the time, is what is slowing so many of us down. And we're just sort of like bumping and thumping through life. We know we sort of want to go in a particular direction, but, we're not working with the energy to actually get there. And so if you're like me, you just sort of feel like you make a circle or you're on a hamster wheel sometimes. Not that life is necessarily rough or hard, but it's just very slow, and I'm realizing more and more it's slow because of me and my beliefs, my limiting beliefs, and lack of working with the transits. So if you have Sagittarius in your first house, even if you are a Sagittarius sun or moon, then all of what I said may. Grand Risings, how are you, beautiful? Yes, I don't get on live as much, so I'm glad you caught me live too. I'm trying to do better about that. But if it's in your first house, if you're if you're a Sagittarius rising, so first house, or you're a Sagittarius sun or moon, then it could be that everything that I just mentioned will apply to you. You need to have a more expansive understanding of yourself. You need to have more gratitude for yourself, more gratitude for your life. If it's your second house, it would deal with money. You need to expand your consciousness and have a better understanding of money, your way with money, how can you improve with money, and also self-worth, self-value, and maybe when it comes to what you eat, how you take care of yourself. You need to really begin to expand yourself beyond where you are in those areas and look to see what more can you do, how can you be more abundant in those ways. The second house definitely is about working with the abundance consciousness. If it's the third house, it would have to do with things that I would say what I be related to siblings to have regarding your siblings or the people that you spend quite a bit of when it comes to things regarding your business acumen, social media, communication. Maybe you need to write something. You need to start a podcast, or, you need to find some way to express yourself, and you haven't been doing it. So if it's the fourth house, then it would relate to friends and family, home and family. And so maybe you need to learn more about your ancestors, your family, to see how can you be more expansive within your own personal family situation. Even if you're single, there's still things that we can learn about our family and heal up from our family. Or maybe we need to spend more time with our family. And I will say, for those who perhaps don't have blood family, we create our family circles. Once we become adults, our bloodline doesn't have to be our family. So it's whoever we create as our family. And also just regarding the home life, what are things that you could be doing? If Sagittarius is in your fifth house, then this is a really good placement, in my opinion. It has to do with creativity. It has to do with dating. And it also has to do with our children. So expansion in beliefs, expansion in just all things good, more gratitude in those areas, and you'll find the increase. To me, the fifth house is definitely a house where you can get an increase. I know for a fact that's for Leo rising. Y'all lucky suckers. Yeah, that's that Leos, y'all got it going on right now with that Sagittarius in your fifth house. I mean, get kicking with your hobbies, your creativities. You can do some cha-ching ching, make some money. And it just could be a time where you are rocking with your children or the children in your life. The sixth house is going to have to do with health and wellness. So if it's in your sixth house, then, oh, let me see something. I pulled these out because I'm not good with knowing I'm not there yet. So if Sagittarius is in your sixth house, that means that you are a Cancer rising. And so this is an opportunity for you to work on your health, as well as to maybe even get yourself in a position where you're just having a really good experience at work. If you have employees, it's an expansion regarding how y'all work together and just how things are going. Leo, Sun, Sag, Moon. Okay, you got it going on, girl. You got a lot of fire. So, yeah, with that Leo, Sun, I talked about Sagittarius, I think maybe I started right when you logged on. So you got it going on. Expansion in yourself in a big way. But yeah, with the sixth house, work on your health or work on career. Things regarding work and all that kind of good stuff. If Sagittarius is in your, let's see here where we're going. Oh, I gotta go the other way. Oh, seventh house. If Sagittarius is on your seventh house, that means you're Gemini rising. And so that means that you need to have more gratitude regarding your relationships. So going back to the sixth house, you need to experience more gratitude in your health and in things all regarding work. So if you're going to work and you're in a grumpy mood, you need to just give thanks for your job, you know. Even if you have some health challenges going on, you just need to give thanks for the health that you do have. That's an example of what I'm talking about. So for Gemini rising, if you have Gemini, if you're Gemini rising, Gemini of any sort of way, it's in your seventh house. Give thanks for your relationships, be it, you know, the one-to-one that's really important to us. To me, I look at like, well, definitely marital type, or, you know, you're in a relationship with a committed partner. Long term, anybody who you might have cheering with, even if you're not with that person, you need to be giving thanks in some kind of way. Giving thanks will give us a breakthrough. Just remember that. And also for business partnerships, if you're caught up in any legal affairs, if you're a Gemini of any sort, give some thanks that everything is working in your favor. So those are things to think about. Let's see here. Gemini on the 8th house. That's going to be Taurus rising, I think. Yeah. So give thanks for all the transformation that you're being called in to do. Give thanks for it's an opportunity to look at how you really need to change, how you need to make some transformation, and give thanks for grace and ease. Thank you, Oya, for the grace and ease you're giving me to make the changes I know I need to make. Oya, you're the bomb. So that's how it works. You just keep going through the houses. I'm not gonna leave y'all hanging. So the next one would be Aries people, ninth house. Now Aries rising is who this really applies to, but it could work for an Aries sun or moon too. It's on your ninth house. And so definitely you need to be looking at your beliefs. What are you thinking about? Um, Maybe you want to be thinking about for some foreign travel. Also, anyone could be thinking about foreign travel with Jupiter being in Sagittarius. But definitely those who are Aries people might be thinking, I want to do some foreign travel or some long-term travel, because it has to do with you go and travel and you stay gone for a while. But definitely maybe you're going to have a teacher show up, or you're working with your teacher. You need to go back and look at some stuff your teacher, has taught you that you haven't focused on, and you need to get that. You need to really go back and study these teachings. Pisces, I guess, is going to be the 10th house. If Sagittarius is on the 10th house, then that means that, and that's for Pisces people, career. You need to give thanks for your career, and maybe there's some things in your career you need to backtrack on that you came up with some ideas for abundance and expansion and growth, but you haven't implemented them yet, okay? And if Sagittarius is on the 11th house, I'm just going to double check y'all because I'm not good like this. And I've seen astrologers mess up and everybody's going crazy like, what are you talking about? And I don't profess to be an astrologer. I profess to be an astrology student. So for Aquarius, Sagittarius on your is on the 11th house for you. And so this is about goals. I will say for Aries too, you might want to be reviewing your goals. Everybody should be reviewing their goals. That is something I left out for Sagittarius. I do see Sagittarius as futuristic and looking forward. So really look at your goals, review your goals, but definitely the Aquarius people need to do that. And so for them, you need to review your goals. Maybe you need to expand yourself a little bit and give thanks for what you've already done. Don't beat yourself up if you haven't gotten as far as you wanted to. This might be a time for you to kind of like reset yourself so that when it's time, you're moving full speed ahead. And if it's on your 12th house, that means Sagittarius on the 12th house. That's going to be Capricorn, right? Yeah, Capricorn. And sorry if y'all hear all the paper. So for the Capricorns out there, Sagittarius on the 12th house is a spiritual time. It's time for you. Again, it's expansive. To me, the 12th house is expansive. It's about stepping outside of yourself, but definitely into the unseen. Really, truly giving thanks and establishing some gratitude practices. And again, this is for everybody. We all should be establishing gratitude practices during this time so that they last a lifetime. Gratitude is a game changer. And it's something that I haven't been doing on a regular basis. I give thanks daily, but to have a gratitude practice, to be more mindful, instead of, whining, moaning, groaning, and complaining, I'm telling myself, no, I'm going to give thanks for whatever. I can give thanks in that moment to keep myself in this gratitude practice. And I actually feel happier. That's another thing about Sagittarius, y'all. Sagittarius is fun. It's free. It's happy-go-lucky energy. So let us avail ourselves to this time of Jupiter going retrograde. So the 9th, the 10th, and 11th, for sure, we should be feeling something regarding Sagittarius, something regarding these topics that I've talked about. And we need to embrace this energy. And we really work with this energy because it's in its home sign of Sagittarius. It's also rules Pisces too, but it's in its home sign of Pisces, y'all. Excuse me, Sagittarius. It's we only get this once every 12 years. And both of these energies are so important to helping us expand and move forward. And so as we find ourselves being restructured with Capricorn, we can embrace this energy of Sagittarius to help us expand to whatever this restructure is and implement it in our lives, because this is what's going to move us forward over the next 30 years. Once Saturn moves out of Capricorn, it won't be back for 30 years. And so, y'all, come on. Even if you don't make it that whole 30 years, it's all in play and in effect for the next 30 years once Saturn, this restructuring that's happening. So we want to be restructured in the best way possible, with the best practices, with the best attitude, and nothing gives it to us like Sagittarius. Let me see what Queen Trinity is talking about. Very nice. You have to. With you being a Leo sun, you have to. So I'm happy for you, Queen Trinity. Yes, do that, sister. So that's what I wanted to get on and talk to you all about today. Wishing y'all a most auspicious Jupiter retrograde. Look at what life is bringing you to change. So when I talked about, let me just really say this quickly. When I talked about the first house, that's going to be Sagittarius. When I talked about the second house, that's Scorpio. Third house would be Libra. Fourth house, Virgo. And then I started telling everybody at the fifth house, that's Leo. So I don't want to rob anybody from really knowing what they're working with. Plug in your information into astro.com and you can look to see which house is affected. Love you too. Prosperity to you also. It's always so nice to be on here with you, Queen Trinity. Love you all. Thank you. And see you in the next video. Also, please remember to like the video, share the video. It really helps me, y'all. It really helps if y'all do that. And to go to goddessbodymindspirit.com if you need a spiritual reading and if you would like to work with me as your guide. This is definitely a Sagittarius type of thing, having a guide. You can go to Patreon, patreon.com/goddessbodymindspirit. And I set the levels of engagement from $5 to $30, y'all. I'm not trying to break the bank of anybody. And literally, I feel like I put my heart and soul into it. And I can honestly say Patreon is the reason that I'm up and moving on my channel even more. So join me there. I would love to have you there. Thank you all so much. Thank you to all the Patreon members, as always, for your inspiration. And I will see y'all